And that's concerning. Taiwan reports large-scale Chinese military aircraft presence near island. The defense ministry detected 26 Chinese military aircraft around the island Saturday. Taiwan saw a surge of Chinese military planes near the island. Its defense ministry said Sunday after a sharp drop in flights over the past 2 weeks had sparked discussions among observers. The ministry detected 26 Chinese military aircraft around the island on Saturday, with 16 of them entering its northern, central, and southwestern air defense identification zone. 7 naval ships were spotted around the island, it reported. The increased number of aircraft came after the ministry reported a fall that left analysts scratching their heads about what China's military may be up to. I mean, it's just an unfortunate effect of what we've seen in the past 6 months. It's like when superpowers play God and play around that they can just do regime changes and attack countries without any consequences. Other superpowers will just join and follow them. Henkaska, thanks for the follow. And that's unfortunate. It's gonna probably also affect Ukraine, because we know that the United States removed the sanctions for Russian oil. So Russia is again getting more and more money for its war machine. So what United States is again doing is affecting global politics. So anyone who says that I shouldn't be talking about the United States, well, if it affects globally, then I need to talk about the United States. How much has gasoline in Europe cost now? I think in Finland, like the price of gasoline went over €2, but here in Ireland, it's not €2 yet. I have an electric car, so I don't really follow. Jews have been doing this since 1948. It's not exactly new. The people democracy doesn't matter. I wouldn't blame a religion for this, though. It may be used as a shield, but I'm not doing that. People are using religion all the time when it comes to like doing war crimes and horrific things. 1.75 pounds in UK diesel. I don't think it has that big of an impact, like, yet. Doesn't mean that it might not have. Sorry, but it is Jewish. Nah. Making a blanket statement like that doesn't really benefit anyone. It's the same like blanket statement that says that every single Catholic Christian is a pedophile because there was a lot of priests who love to molest children, or every single Muslim is a terrorist because there's some terrorists that are Muslims. There's 1.6 billion Muslims, so a blanket statement like that doesn't like benefit the situation here at all. Poor Israel is getting pounded daily. I mean, I'm pretty sure they knew what's gonna happen when they attacked Iran. Like this, it's unfortunate that the decisions by their leaders is now causing harm for the civilians. But it is crocodile tears, though, considering what they've done to Gaza, what are they doing in West Bank, and how much suffering and death they've caused to, like the government of Israel has caused to Palestinians. So, World War III surgeon. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're there yet. Aussie lives. Nah, I never went anywhere. China has launched massive what? China has launched large scale. It's not. China hasn't launched military actions yet on Taiwan, but they do have quite a lot of increased military presence in near Taiwan. And if they care about the average people, they'd focus time, energy, and money on improving lives in their own country, not nations building and bombing and world policy forever. Exactly, ladies, true. Exactly. "99% certain it's World War III. Only way Trump exists looking strong, and he is a narcissist. It's two euros a liter in Belgium, up 50 cents. Oh god damn. That's actually got a bit of a jump in Belgium. Invest in Intel TSMZ and is done for. Okay. So we're getting some stock advice now. You see nothing but Trump talking about the war every day, but we're the prime minister. You're talking about Prime Minister Netanyahu or Prime Minister in Ireland or Finland, or because United States don't have a prime minister. How rigged were the experts' elections? Prime Minister Israel. I mean, yesterday we were speculating if Netanyahu was dead. Unfortunately, today we had a new video that Netanyahu is not dead. But then again, that video also sparked a lot of speculation that maybe that video was also AI. There's a lot of fuckery going on again. And to be fair, like going into a random coffee shop to make a PR video is kind of weird while your country is being bombed. Netanyahu's death wouldn't change anything. Netanyahu's death would be celebrated around the world. It would be celebrated by the Jewish people, and it would be celebrated by a lot of people around the world. Dying of a war criminal. 100%. So how rigged do you think they were, the Supreme Leader elections? I don't like. There's they already have like the structure. If Supreme Leader dies, who's going to be the next? Who's going to be the next? Who's going to be next? It's not a proper election. It's more of an agreement that we're going to go with this. He is hiding or dead. Found where? I didn't know he was missing. Netanyahu was literally missing for 5 days. He wasn't in the security council meetings or anything. Who do you recommend for news sources in North America? If you want to follow the Iran war, I would recommend this one. If you want to follow the Iran war, you might want to get access to all the information at once. So iranmonitor.org gathers all the sources from Israel to Iran to Syria to Europe to Asia to United States. It has Reuters as well there. So it gathers everything related to the Iran war. Every single like social media post, every single social media live feed or anything like that. Scott Reeder, Colin Wilkerson, and McGregor. What? Someone can come get Trump. America would appreciate it. I mean, there would be a lot of people like celebrating if Trump got, ousted. Hey, bro, I'm from Croatia. Trump and Hexet doing great, don't they? I mean, depends what your definition of great is, but they're definitely doing something, but I wouldn't call it great, though. JD Vance will make 25th Amendment happen. I don't think he will. JD Vance is a pussy boy. Like he doesn't have the balls to do that. Analyst, I'm shocked you aren't familiar with any of these men. No, but you're just throwing like random names into chat, like KKKGGG follow. Thanks for the follow. Please get Trump and the creation of I'd open a bottle of champagne. Yeah, like I'd open a bottle of champagne as well. Like if PP was killed or and died on natural causes. Of course, I don't believe that anybody has the right to take another human's life, but it is always good when a dictator or a war criminal vanishes. But the Taiwan situation is interesting, and as we can see, like, well, on TikTok you can't see, but in YouTube and Twitch you can see that the amount of uh, personnel and like hardware around Taiwan at the moment is kind of, it's a lot. So that's a bit of an escalation in the situation. Not a good escalation though. Gas is almost $6 per gallon in, oh god damn. Greetings from Spain. What up, Francisco? JDV beat the deal, and Elon Musk and he will team up with Ted Cruz to finish Trump and Rubio. I wouldn't trust any of the tech billionaires at all. They have their own agenda that they're pushing. I can't wait to be drafted so we can die getting missiles to death before landing. I mean, that's a hard sell for any parent that's like their kids or any partner that their partner goes to war, especially in Iran war. Like if they get killed in action in Iran, how do you justify that? Congratulations, your son or daughter died heroically protecting the pedophiles in the United States just because somebody else told them to go to war. That's kind of a sad way of going, you know? His voice modulation do not match with earlier speech modulation. That sounds vicious. Talking about Netanyahu. Yeah, it's kind of weird. The whole Netanyahu video, like, kind of sus. Did you say iranwar.org? No, I said iranmonitor.org. We found him. Ozzy's long lost cousin. Yeah, congratulations. I listened to John Bon Jovi knockoff. I think Kamala will end up being Speaker of the House. They impeach the become. I mean, I hope Kamala Harris doesn't go, like, stays the fuck away from politics for a while. True believer you are. Didn't see you at the Columbia protest. What? We can thank Musk for Trump being in office. Yeah, that is true. We can thank Trump. Musk spent hundreds of millions and tweaked the algorithm of X to make sure that Trump wins. But that's just half of it. It's like you can't give Musk the full credit of that. Democrats won't see the White House for years. My typo took me to x.com. Oh god damn. If any of the unconstitutional, why can't the forces walk away? They could. I don't think they know. And it's a bit risky because you have clearly a Secretary of Defense, even though he wants to call it Secretary of War. And you have the president who doesn't give a fuck about the Constitution. So even though the soldiers have the right to walk away, that's still a risky thing because you have two fucking maniacs running the military. I wouldn't test my luck though. I would probably fake a bone spur because that's an effective way of like getting away. Musk took out votes out of the voting machines in swing states. I don't think that's like completely proven. Not saying it's not plausible, but I don't think that's completely proven. Thank God you're not a leader of a country. Yes, imagine that. I would instantly not wage war around the world and not make enemies out of people around the world so I can lower my defense budget so I can make my country better for my citizens. Provide free healthcare for children. Oh my God, what a horrible leader. I would be such a bad leader because the best thing you can do is fuck the citizens of my country. Just increase the defense budget as much as you can. build a fucking golden dome, which you wouldn't need if you didn't wage war around the world, and make new enemies all the time, a new generation of enemies. Yeah, I would be a horrible leader. God damn. The video of Bibi drinking coffee also looks like AI. It does look like AI. They don't just have a right to ignore unlawful orders. They have a legal or ethical responsibility to ignore those unlawful orders, 100%. Can you imagine idolizing pedophiles? I mean, I see it daily. I see it daily in social media. People are just living like it's completely normal. None of the inner circle of Epstein has been fucking trialed or even sentenced. They're still free. You're slightly naive. Not everyone is nice. Yes, not everyone is nice. You know who definitely isn't nice? A child who grows up without parents because a country bombed them. You think that child is gonna grow up loving that specific country that bombed them? That is naivety if you think that's gonna be the case. You think they're like out of nowhere just screaming death to America? Are you really that dumb that you don't understand what causes that? They don't scream death to Britain. They don't yell death to Ireland, death to Finland. You really fucking think there isn't a reason why there's people in the world screaming death to America? This is also wild. It's hard to believe the day today is actually happening, lol. Do you believe in Jesus Christ? Fuck no. If you want to believe in Jesus Christ, go ahead. That's completely normal, like up to you. I think religion shouldn't be in politics. I think that's one of the worst decisions ever, like letting religion run wild in politics. Religion should be far away from politics. It should be only a personal thing. There isn't, not that I'm on their side, but there are some reasons. Don't rationalize with MAGA. Donald Trump is risking America's citizens. What do you think? I think that's like every single U.S. Soldier that dies or gets wounded, that is literally because of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is risking the lives of U.S. service members and even U.S. citizens for the future come. Because again, what they're doing in Iran at the moment, bombing the cities and killing civilians in the thousands, that is going to cause animosity towards the United States. So it's literally putting the citizens of the United States in risk. So all of that is on Trump. He didn't need to do this. Mielipideaikoiksi jenkit posauttaa sen Larryn vakuuttamaan US-pankin losesi. I mean, that you don't need to be a conspiracy theory to like understand that he did. Yeah, it would be a bit too much 9/11ish if he did that. A bit too much 9/11ish if they did that. It's the same fucking guy. Trump put our troops in war against Iran without interceptors. That's a failure. Why is it on Trump? Trump started this. Trump's intelligence said that Iran wasn't a threat. And also, a lot of intelligence said that Iran didn't have a nuclear program. Also, Iran agreed to the nuclear guarantees before the strikes happened. But Trump and Netanyahu didn't want. Trump and Netanyahu shifted the goalpost to include ballistic missiles and mid-range missiles as well. So Trump got what he wanted, the nuclear guarantees from Iran. But he shifted the goalpost. So all those deaths are on Trump. If Trump knew he was going to war against Shahheads, he shouldn't got interceptors. He did it for the puppet masters. Yes, money, it's all about money. There would be no wars waged if the leaders would need to send their kids to war. Sorry, you're not fit to comment on politics. You're getting your facts wrong. The Oman negotiator literally stated on Friday that Iran agreed to nuclear guarantees that the United States wanted. And they were about to have a meeting on Monday. Those are facts. If you don't like them, fuck off. Those are literal facts. Miklo, hey, thanks for the lucky hat. Thanks a million. St. Patrick's Day is coming after all. And Trump attacked them on Saturday while they were on negotiations. Trump also attacked the girls' school. Even though a lot of moderate right-wingers and MAGAs were saying that Iran did it themselves. And even I got it wrong. I blamed the IDF originally. You don't understand the negotiation. It was already a foregone conclusion. It was obvious in 24. Oh my fucking god, sensitive young man. Two of the other sides says that it was going well, and then Trump decided differently because they decided to add stuff to the fucking negotiations. They shifted the fucking goalposts to justify their attacking. Second of all, if the Operation Midnight Hammer did what Trump said it did, which is destroyed their nuclear capabilities and their nuclear program, then this was also not justified as well. But of course, either the Operation Midnight Hammer was a failure and Trump lied, or this is a lie and a fucking failure. My face 10, my body at T, and I'm petite. Miklo, thanks for the shamrock as well. That's why they're called negotiations. You negotiate as long as you can. Diplomacy should always be the option, not attacking them because you have a feeling, like Trump said. It's fucking wild that we're even having a conversation about this, like. And second of all, Iran shouldn't need to give any fucking nuclear guarantees to anybody. Who is the United States and Israel to demand nuclear guarantees from Iran? I'm so anti-nuclear weapons. I don't think any country should have nuclear weapons. But that is a utopia, and that's never going to happen in my lifetime. And because that's never going to unfortunately happen in my lifetime, United States and Israel is in no place to demand any other country to make nuclear guarantees. The Israelis were set on it after October 7th. If you want to play that game, Bibi Netanyahu has been talking about this since the late 80s, early 90s, wanting to attack Iran. Now he has a president that was willing to take that. Now he has a president that was in the United States that was willing to be a sucker and do what Bibi Netanyahu has been wanting to do since the early 90s. He has been saying it since the early 90s that Iran is 2 weeks away from nuclear weapons, a month away from nuclear weapons. And you can see that fucking timeline since like 1991, 92. Yo, Bibi alive at Starbucks. Bibi was alive. I don't think that was Starbucks, but Bibi was alive. Israel should be totally demolished into dust. No. No. All of the Israeli government and IDF should be held accountable for crimes against humanity or war crimes. Also, I would put Hamas in the same place because what Hamas has done, like, it would be hypocritical not to do the same. And of course, you would need to put Hexet there as well and Donald Trump because what they've done now are war crimes. I wouldn't destroy a complete country. That's the difference between us. I don't justify. I don't see it a justification to destroy a whole country because I don't believe in killing another human being. But maybe that's the weakness, if you want, that I have. I refuse to think this stream is real, Alicia, until I see Tony asking about your hair. I have like Tony was here yesterday, literally just. Yeah, and you're wrong. I mean, that's your opinion, man. Like, nobody has the right to take another person's life. That's my opinion. People have to die. It's a fact of life. No, they don't. It's not a fucking fact. The only time people need to die is when they get sick or time. If you're that cynical, like, I'm sorry for you, but that's such a fucking cynical way of looking life. Yeah, it's human nature to kill each other. I mean, we're living in the 2026, so we don't need to do that anymore. You know, we don't need to be that tribal species anymore that needs to fight for land. We have the capabilities and the technology and the resources. We don't need to be that anymore. But humans want to be. For example, that sort of a mindset that people just need to die. No. Ultimately, people need to die. No, they don't need to. What the fuck? Ultimately, they will die of old age or sickness. No one has the fucking right to take another human's life except themselves or time. Period. It's a fact we shouldn't just go back to primitive days. Exactly. No bombs would be nice, but what if every country had bombs? Can type? I mean, if every single country, like the best protection against regime change at the moment is nuclear weapons. Ask North Korea. North Korea has been left alone quite a long time once they achieved nuclear weapons. It is one of the best protections at the moment. I don't like it because no single fucking human being should own a weapon that can wipe out hundreds of thousands or millions of people and potentially destroy the civilization. Easy as that. Okay, like that's it. I tried to give a bit of a chance for that sensitive young man, but that started to go borderline on like just anti-Semitic. Again, I don't have anything against any religion. That's the issue. Like, you hear me criticizing the government of Israel. You hear me criticize Netanyahu, but I have no issue with people who want to believe what they believe. I just think that religion shouldn't be in politics and shouldn't be in power. So if you blame a religion for all the fucking problems and there's a master plan, I'm not on that. Like, I don't think what Netanyahu is doing is representing the whole Jewish people, the whole Jewish population. Just like Al Qaeda terrorists aren't representing the whole religion of Islam, or the Catholic priests in the United States, in Canada, and around the world who molested little children. They are not representing the Catholic Christianity. That is not helping the conversation, and that is just fueling more fucking hate, and I hate that. Religion is dumb, lol. Believe what you want, but if other people believe differently, then just let them believe what they... Exactly. It isn't representing them at all. Like, if you create that hatred towards a religion, people's belief, and you spread that hate, it just fuels more hate. What we need to be is like, okay, politics is one thing. Then there are like my personal beliefs and also like religion if I want to. Even though I'm an atheist, I don't have a religion. Why does anyone need a weapon they can't use? You're 100% right. I know that too many people's lives on this short journey are corrupt as snuffed. Live your life with no malice to anyone. Exactly. War is terrible. It's a racket to make the 1% more rich. Freedom of and from religion is the key to peace. It has to separate from government. Exactly. Carol the Jesus, thanks for the heart. And Miklo, thanks for the shamrocks as well. And Blake for the heart. Specialists already say this is going to be long term in Iran. Yes. I can see that happening. Israel is also playing with fire. Flopbeat, thanks for the follow. Andrel, thanks for the follow as well. I believe in Santa. Anyway, hello all. Well, I'm Finnish, so I've met Santa a few times. I wonder what happened to the people we deported. A lot of them were sent to CSET, though, unfortunately. And I don't think we're ever gonna hear from them. Super Yusuf, thanks for the follow. Has America made the Middle East better or worse? It's an easy answer. Worse. A lot worse. What did China launch? They're flexing their power across Taiwan at the moment. These religious politicians are representing of religion in politics. That affects us all. Exactly, which is the reason why religion should be removed from politics. Why should your thought of Iran supersede Iranians? You think people getting bombed in Iran are happy that they're getting bombed in Iran? Also, Siamak, just a bit of a heads up. Just because somebody is celebrating abroad that USA and Israel are trying to do a regime change, that they're trying to strip the freedom of Iranians to decide their future leaders, doesn't mean they're right because they're celebrating. We saw the same celebration in Iraq. We saw the same celebration in Afghanistan, Lebanon. We saw the same celebration in Libya, in Syria. How did that go? Not well. Iranians won't have freedom. Trump has said that. Netanyahu has said that they're going to decide who's the future leader of Iran. That's not freedom. Siamak, I don't understand if you don't understand like news outlets or you're following propaganda, but Trump has said literally that yeah, there might be elections in the future, but they're going to ultimately decide who's the leader. The new leader needs to be favorable for the United States and favorable for Israel. Which means that if you ever have elections under the colony of the United States, if you select the wrong guy, they're going to get Ayatollah, which is killed. So do you think that's freedom? That's not freedom. No, Siamak, I didn't say you're following propaganda. I just asked if you're following propaganda because what you're saying has literally no weight in this conversation. It has no weight in this conversation. If you can't remember history, if you can't read or hear what the leaders are actually saying, I can't help you. Like, political leaders always create crises, conflicts, and then wars to destroy human civilization. You already said that I don't understand anything about the situation, and why am I not listening to the Iranians? I explained to you why people celebrating abroad doesn't really hold that much weight if this is a good thing or not, because the war is still going on. People are dying, civilians are dying, infrastructure is destroyed. How is it attacking Iran, America first? It's not, Patrick. It's not. That's literally the thing. It's America fifth, maybe fifth or sixth. I'm not completely sure. Yes, you did. Why should you? Why should your thought of Iran supersede Iranians? Ask them. I am one of them. You know nothing about Iran. Sure, if I can see, Siamak, your whole conversation history here. Everything I said, what you said about me, is correct. So, either you're a, are you one of those fucking bots that I saw on Twitter as well, that were spreading that Iranians attacked the girls' school, even though it wasn't the Iranians, it was the United States. But why do you have to kill all innocent people? You don't have to kill anyone, in my opinion. Do you think that this concrete is due to fear of Israel and Donald Trump administration failure? Do you think that this concrete is due to... Nirmalaya, could you rephrase that question? You are the example of straw manning. Okay, cool story. You have not brought anything into this conversation. Trump has said that the new leader of Iran, if there ever is going to be a new leader, needs to be favorable for Israel and the United States. That's a fact. Also, Trump said that Reza Pahlavi is not going to be the leader because he's not suitable for that. Trump said that as well. Trump also called every single Iranian genetically inferior. Trump also said that they're going to wipe out the whole Iran. So I don't think you understand, even though you claim to be Iranian, and you might be Iranian, who knows? But we've seen the whole fucking playbook for the past 30, 40 years. This is not the first regime change. And this is not the first time United States attacks in the Middle East. A lot of people around the world at the moment has a memory of a goldfish. And that's kind of concerning, that people don't have a longer memory of, like, we've seen every single thing that's going on at the moment. Maybe type of for conflict. Do you think that this conflict is due to fear of Israel and Donald Trump administration failure? I think Trump is just high on power. Thought that, like, he could do this actually. The Pentagon report, it was a mapping issue. It was our Tomahawk. Oopsie poopsie. Twice. Smithy, twice. They shot 2 Tomahawk missiles to the school. People have a weak base memories. The Epstein files are already forgotten. Fat orange man ring. I mean, that's the issue, like, because there's so much happening at the moment. It's super hard to keep track of everything that's going on. These are just problems for one more decade. Those silly 4 leaders will all die around the same time. It's a distracting from the Epstein file. So yes, you are of German descent. I'm Finnish, so 800 people have been killed in Lebanon. Exactly. Israel also has struck Gaza again, and there's atrocities happening in West Bank. So it's a bit of an excuse to just kill people, kill civilians. Andrea Levitt, thanks for the heart. Most think Iran is a tiny tea country, that is all they know. Iran is a huge country. That's why putting boots on the ground would be a horrible mistake for the United States. Did you all know USA still are in Iraq and taking their oil more than Iraqis get? Innocent people, yes. I keep thinking about all the people in the DS detention centers. That makes me ill. How are you, Netanyahu? Wow, Netanyahu, unfortunately, is alive. To be fair, I was kind of rooting that Netanyahu wouldn't be. People would be celebrating around the world, and as we also know from the chat, that when people are celebrating, that's a good thing. That's the criteria that we use at the moment. For example, Siamak is the one that's calling that people are celebrating. So that's a good thing. So, for example, if, let's say, God forbid, Putin is killed, which would be a good thing. But if Netanyahu is killed, that's a good thing because people would be celebrating. If Trump is killed, that would be a good thing because there's millions of people celebrating. That's the, if you're that dumb that you fucking use that as a measurement of if something's good or not, I'm sorry, but you're not fit for this conversation. You know, if you use that as a measurement, if something is good because people are celebrating, you're a fucking idiot. What country are you in? Ireland. I can't believe we haven't broken them out of intention centers. The abuse is sickening. How do you know he's alive? Unfortunately, Netanyahu posted a fucking coffee video. Although there's a lot of speculation that it's still AI. So when you're handicapped and brainwashed, the other handicap, what is this? What? What was your opinion of Charlie Kirk? The same exact thing. No human being has the right to take another person's life, especially based on their opinion. Charlie Kirk shouldn't have been killed by an assassin. Even though I don't agree with Charlie, but definitely Charlie didn't deserve to die. Why are you afraid of having a face-to-face talk? Because this is my life and this is how it goes. If you're not satisfied with this, you can just swipe forwards. Or you can try and formulate your opinion via text. So you can do that. A lot of people have done in the past, and a lot of people are doing it at the moment. But if you're not capable of doing that, sorry about that. No one deserves that, but it was pretty ironic. I mean, I'm not gonna make jokes. It was a horrible, like, you can disagree on opinions as much as you want to, but that's a horrible way of going. Although Charlie died doing what he loved, losing debates. I mean, you almost made me smile. I need to. Scandinavia have a lot of propaganda news. God bless for people like you. I mean, if you want to follow Iran war like properly, here's IranMonitor.org, which gathers all the news around the world. They have Israeli news, they have US news, they have European news, Asian news, Iran news, Lebanese news. They have literally all the news in one place. One of the best places to follow the war, and has been since the start of the war. No, it's limited, and like, I'm sorry, Siamak, but here's a compilation of your points so far. Who said anything about Reza Pahlavi? Oh, this shows only 10 comments. Sure, Iranians don't understand, but you do. You're afraid of having the talk because you can misrepresent my points in chat. Bring me up and let's talk. Western leftists is greater than Iranians. Hypocrisy, you're a fit one. Why are you afraid of having a face-to-face talk? No, it's not limited because you the power to misrepresent my points as you do properly. You have not put anything in the chat that would be contributing to this conversation. So you're just running your mouth. And you're claiming authority because you're Iranian. And I should take everything you say by heart. Bibi is dead, mark my words. I mean, there's so much like AI propaganda at the moment, so might as well be. Do you have an opinion of Tucker Carlson? I mean, I haven't watched Tucker Carlson since he got fired from Fox News. And even then, I watched Tucker Carlson for entertainment reasons. If you want to watch Tucker Carlson, I mean, go for it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. But I can't stand Tucker Carlson, like Tucker Carlson's voice. Every time I hear like a clip of him, the laugh is the thing. But yeah, I haven't really watched Tucker Carlson ever. It's not something that I'm interested in. I can see Tucker Carlson's like messages and so forth, like in the social media, so that's enough for me. You play black metal. Not necessarily black metal, but like melodic death metal and all of that. You say a lot of the same things, lol. Same things as Tucker Carlson. No, Tucker Carlson is blaming the Jews. I'm not blaming the Jews. And Tucker Carlson, you have to remember that he was ultra MAGA back in the day until he got ousted by Laura Loomer. And that must sting. There's a different opinions among the Iranians. The same with there's different opinions among Americans. Oh yeah. What's the latest update? There's a lot of. Trump is talking with British Prime Minister Stamer about like the Strait of Hormuz. Israeli warplanes hit southern Beirut. Israel warplanes strike Qiyam amid deadly raids in South Lebanon. So Israel has been bombarding Lebanon quite a lot in the past few days. A lot of civilian casualties, but that's nothing new when we're talking about the IDF. IDF really doesn't care about what they hit. They just hit, you know. That's been IDF's MO for a long time. And Trump is now on his begging tour, begging people to participate in the war that he started and can't finish. He's been found. Unfortunately, Bibi Netanyahu has been found. It would be nice, though, that Bibi Netanyahu just vanished. It would be better for the Jewish people around the world. It would be better for the Muslims in the Middle East. It would be better for the country and citizens of Israel. It would be really good for the peace of the world. Yeah, the war that wasn't properly authorized by the US government too. I have a really good point from Thomas Massi about that. Who are you to say this? A man that's reads a lot of global politics and also have read a lot of like world wars and wars in the Middle East. That's who. You might not like my opinion, but Bibi Netanyahu is one of the biggest reasons why there's so much anti-Semitism around the world. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people around the world that don't separate the government and the country of Israel from the religion of Judaism. For example, there's a lot of right-wingers in Europe and in the United States that when Bibi Netanyahu says that they're protecting themselves and they're getting attacked because they're Jews, they take that to heart. Me, on the other hand, separate the religion of the Jewish people and Bibi Netanyahu because Bibi Netanyahu is a war criminal and should be tried for crimes against humanity. He is killing and has killed 30,000 plus women and children. But there are a lot of people around the world that can't separate those things. So when Bibi Netanyahu is hiding behind the shield of religion, like he does, he uses religion as a shield and as a weapon. People take that to heart and they use that against the whole religion of Judaism. So a lot of innocent Jews around the world are suffering because of that. They are being hit by anti-Semitism around the world because there's a fucking war criminal as the leader of Israel that uses the religion as a shield and as a weapon. And horrible people around the world make a blanket statement just because what Netanyahu is saying, what Netanyahu is doing, that applies to the whole religion. I don't agree with that. It's the same thing with the Muslims. There are a lot of Muslim terrorists. Doesn't mean that all Muslims are terrorists. Anti-Semitism is settling a lot. I was talking about the recent rise of anti-Semitism, Maria. If you don't listen, that's fine. What's Iran? Iran is a country. Holy war in 2026, how modern? I mean, it was a bit outdated and like privatized by other religions, so Trump decided to bring it to Christianity again. Christians haven't had a proper holy war in a while, so Trump decided to make it fashionable again on the Christian. This is a big country. It's a massive country. It's not just big, it's fucking huge. The size of Central Europe. My parents' neighbors in Iran was Jews. Has nothing to do with religion, it's hate. Stop protecting Israel. Biblical Israel is not the place. It's said Messiah kingdom, not of this. What? You seem to think Trump or any other US president has choice to back Israel. I mean, they do have a choice. Could somebody tell me why the United States decided to attack Iran on behalf of Israel? Has anyone told you that you sort of look like Ozzy Osbourne? Quite a few people have told me. In my opinion, Israel should have fought this war alone. People always have a choice. If Israel wants to wage war with Iran, if Israel wants to wage war with Iran, with Lebanon, they could do it by themselves, right? My husband and I too believe you look like a young Aussie. Trump literally said today or yesterday that he's doing this for fun. He has no plan. I mean, we do know that they don't have a plan. Well, we're riding the crazy train right now, aren't we? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are riding the crazy train. Are we cooked, chat? We are cooked, chat.
Administration can't even give us a straight answer as to why we launched this preemptive war. The president says we had to strike first because an Iranian strike was imminent. Meanwhile, the Department of Defense conceded there was no evidence of an imminent Iranian strike. Some told us
this is the Republican talking.
Nuclear weapons, but 6 months ago we were assured our last strike on Iran
decimated their
nuclear program.
Reasonable Republicans.
I think the most candid answer.
Not the only one, but one of the only ones. And I'm not a Democrat.
That Israel forced our hand and dragged us into this war again. And that truth is the very reason why it is Congress that must decide war. If American lives are to be risked and American blood is to be shed, that decision must be debated and voted on by the representatives of the American people. And that debate is meant to be arduous. And that vote is meant to be hard. I have a theory. I think my colleagues don't want to go on record because we have a terrible track record of meddling in the Middle East. They don't want their name associated with this when it doesn't turn out well. But Congress cannot be bothered with its constitutional duty because for many in this chamber, it's easier to simply allow someone else's sons and daughters to be sent to combat without their vote. And to be clear, we aren't even here to declare war today. All we're voting on is a war powers resolution to reassert the Constitution, that Congress must decide questions of war. And if Congress wants war, then
all the shiny weapons and tech bot forgetting how asymmetrical war will work in 2026. The clear answer is Donald Trump, the president of America, has been hijacked by Mossad. Yeah, that's Thomas Massie speaking. And Thomas Massie is one of the, at least, Republicans that is showing some spine when it comes to the Epstein files and also when it comes to the Iran war. So kudos to Thomas Massie. I don't agree with like majority of the things Thomas Massie wants to push, but at least these two things. And this is the thing that I've been like talking about for so long in these lives, and a lot of you have probably heard me say this, that we don't need to agree with everything, but we need to be able to call out the good things and the bad things from the opposition, and we need to find the common ground because we need to be united, not divided. Oh my god, that sounded like a campaign speech. Sorry about that. I didn't practice. I didn't mean that should rhyme, but yeah. We should be united, not divided. If I ever go to politics, which is not something that I'm thinking about, but that's going to be my campaign slogan. Support his campaign on the crazy train. Who's your opposition? Who's my opposition? It's probably the fucking lobbyist and the corporate puppets in politics. I think that would be my opposition. Because I'm so heavily against corruption in politics, and I'm a true believer that if I go to politics, I don't own any stocks. My family is not in the stock trading business. My family don't have any affiliations. And if they do have affiliations with different companies, I can't be in the same deciding table that decides if they get the contract or not. I should veto myself. Better yet, they should never be considered even. So I would be heavily campaigning against corporate interest in politics and fighting against corruption and lobbying. So I would probably end up dead within like the first month of my campaigning because of the corporations. I'm not even kidding. Are you the president of Norway? No, unfortunately not. Norway doesn't have a president. Norway has a king, right? They have a prime minister, though. Politics is a different animal. When they go after somebody, they will go after somebody, no doubt, 100%. You're a king? No, I don't believe in kings. I think kings and presidents should be a thing of the past. I talked about this yesterday, that power shouldn't be concentrated ever to one person. So in that regards, kings and presidents should be obsolete. They should be eradicated from the political system. Because power shouldn't be concentrated on one person. One person shouldn't be able to decide if a country goes to war or not. Of course, like in a perfect world, the United States have those checks and balances, but as we've seen with the Iran war, those checks and balances don't work. Can you make Finland great again? I had a few calls from my Finnish friends that they were actually trying to get me come to Finland and join the politics. But unfortunately, I don't think Finland is yet ready to hear what I have to say. Maybe the next round, but not yet. Finland is like, don't get me wrong, Finland is super like modern when it comes to a lot of things. But one thing they are not willing to hear is anti-corruption speeches. Which is unfortunate because there's a lot of candidates in Finland who are writing on that, but they don't get anywhere. Finland is like the politics is heavily lobbied. Like the Social Democratic Party is lobbied by the unions and the, what the fuck is it called? It's Labour Party, right? What is Kokoomus in English? I think it's like, it's not a Labour Party, but the right-wing parties. Is Finland corrupted? It's not as corrupted, but of course there's some corruption. We see them like every fucking, like literally this week we had a new, one of the news pieces in Finland was that a politician gave funds to his father's charity or something like that. And they have like specific requirements for those charities that will receive those funds. And this right-wing politicians decided to go outside of those criteria. And it so happened to be a relative of his that received those funds. So there is a lot of like lobbying and corruption still in Finland that needs to be weeded out. Yeah, imagine imposing illegal tariffs and then Commerce Secretary benefits from purchasing that debt. Exactly. That definitely isn't a scam. I mean, it's just a coincidence, you know. What country will the parliamentary system is your favorite parliamentary system? I do like the Danish one and the Finnish one quite a lot. I think they are in their core, they are good. But of course, they're not perfect. But they could be perfect. If you become king, you have my vote. I will never become king. I used to think that Trump was for America first, but I now Bibi's puppet. Oh, you're talking about Trump? Yeah, Danes are fair. Yeah, Danes are good. The Danish political system, parliamentary system is quite good. If they tear up the national park with putting a McDonald's near Old Faithful, that is. The Vikings conquered Ireland 400 years ago. Dublin was established by the Vikings. I know that. You don't want to say that in Ireland, because what I've found out that the Irish doesn't like that part of their history, which I understand. I didn't know that that was such a touchy topic with like elderly Irish people that should start questioning their Irishness by bringing up that the first king of Ireland was a Viking. Any confirmation of USS Abraham Lincoln getting damaged? Apparently that was a lie, not 100%. Like, that comes from the US, so it could be true or a lie.
Needs to watch this clip.
Our interest, I think, very much is in not going to war with Iran.
They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
A war with Iran would make the war in Iraq look like a cakewalk.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
I've been a recovering neocon for 6 years now. Like, the foolishness
I know what you're laughing
with
at.
which we ricocheted around the world, intervening, think it was in our best interest, when really we just overturned the table and
Larry
created
Ellison
something
is
worse.
sending
You're
warnings
not going to
again.
have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you.
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars, not start them.
I was the first president in decades who started no new wars.
No
we
new
don't
wars.
need the wars. Foreign lands, countries you've never heard of, countries that don't even want us there.
President Trump, as he says all the time, and as a lot of people recognize, is a president of peace. We want to have good relationships with everybody.
I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
President Trump is the peace president.
We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid is it?
We've got to stop.
Yes, exactly. We're spending. What's the Iran cost at the moment? Iran war cost. I think there was a counter for that. Yeah, Iran cost ticker. 21 billion at the moment. 21 billion in 15 days. And there's a website if you want to follow like what the cost of Iran, this Iran war is for the United States. There's a website for that as well. And as if we take what Trump just said there.
And we're not Middle East.
Listen to this.
Peace president.
We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East, and we're not fixing our roads in this country. How stupid is it?
We've got to stop Donald.
Yes, I think the President of the United States, as the President of the United States said himself, is stupid that they are willing to throw away billions a day in Iran for a war that didn't need to happen, and a war that they were pulled in by interest groups. And how many have been freed from evil regimes? Oh, okay, Penelope. I know you probably don't know this, but Venezuela's Maduro's regime is still there. The current interim minister or president, whatever you want to call it, is still a part of the original Maduro's regime. Also, Ayatollah has a follower now. So there's a new Ayatollah at the moment. So 0 regime changes. That was a fucking horrible regime change. It's a start. Okay, I have a follow-up question, of course. How will that benefit the United States? Of course, Venezuela, we know that the United States will get access to the oil. But how will Iran benefit the United States? US took all that from South Korea, leaving them exposed, while Kim Jong-un seems to be looking for an itch to scratch. Am I crazy? I mean, Kim Jong-un has nuclear weapons, so that's going to be a tough one for the South Koreans, you know? That would cost him, not benefit him exactly. And the new one has nothing to lose. They killed his family already. And we'll do the same for Cuba. Oh yeah, Cuba is next in line. Then it's going to be Mexico. Then it's probably they're going to move back to, like, I don't know, Lebanon, Syria, whatever Bibi wants. The corruption will end. How much will Trump make? I think Trump's kids are gonna make hundreds of billions out of this. They're already making a lot of money. So definitely they're gonna make some more. By capturing evil, it was always benefit not only the USA but others. How is destabilizing the world and creating more militias in the Middle East gonna benefit the world and the United States? Also, not to mention that raging war in the Middle East will cause a lot of people to flee the war, causing a huge immigrant surge in Europe and around neighboring countries. So I don't think, Penelope, you have really thought about everything. I don't think you've completely thought about the ramifications what Trump is doing. That is such a like narrow-minded, just like, okay, they have a bad dictator. Let's kill him. Let's change the regime. Nothing else changes. Like, I'm sorry, but you do know that things change. Every single thing that that superpower does has ripple effects around the world. So when Trump started to threaten the NATO allies, that has an effect that NATO allies start to look eastwards, that they've already done. If your narrow-minded view doesn't see that, that's not my issue, but that has already done. That has already happened. Also, Trump attacking Iran had a ripple effect over Europe already. European countries started boosting their nuclear arsenal, and also peaceful countries like Sweden and Finland are looking into making legislation changes to harbor nuclear weapons, because that's the best deterrent against regime change. I don't think, Penelope, you have the mind to think about these things, because you're just screaming that regime change, killing a dictator. You don't understand that when a superpower does stupid shit like Trump has done, it has ripple effects. I'm old enough to remember when my husband went to Desert Shield and Storm. Okay, exactly like that. Also, Trump doing stupid shit is making US citizens more in danger. This is another thing you probably haven't thought about. Sorry for honing in on you, Penelope, but Trump killing innocent civilians, US military killing innocent civilians in Iran, also enabling Israel to kill it in Lebanon and in Palestine. You do think that those new generation of people, when they see that they don't have anything, their fucking infrastructure is destroyed, their families are killed, do you think that they're gonna grow up to be an American-loving Iranian or a Palestinian or a Lebanese? No, they're gonna scream death to America again. You don't, if you can't see what effect this could have, I mean, you have the internet, you have unlimited data, you have unlimited access to history. Read, motherfucker. You have a supercomputer that you're messaging me at the moment. You're talking about Jesus and like, what? Yes, I have the mind of Christ because I prayed for it. Who do you pray for? I don't pray because I have a mind. You know, if you want to pray and believe in whatever you want to believe, pick a God, go for it. But you have a supercomputer on your hand that have access to unlimited amount of information throughout the history of this planet. And if you're that ignorant that you can't see what the president of the most powerful country in the world might have for the global economy and also global politics, you're just ignorant. Admit that. I would be happy with that. Just admit that you're ignorant, and that would explain everything. I mean, you are ignorant. You're just screaming that killing a dictator is a good thing, but you're not concerned about anything else that would happen based on that. So I want to, Penelope, remind you, when US citizens and service members are going to be killed, and are definitely this war is still raging on. There's going to be casualties. They are the effect of Trump's actions. And if the future, like 5 years, 10 years from now, there's going to be new terrorist groups, just like happened after the Iraqi war, just like happened after the Gulf War, and if they decide to do terror attacks in the US soil, that is also a ripple effect of this. You might want to read some fucking history other than Bible. Bible isn't the history. You might want to read real history. And if you read real history, you might learn something. Jesus is King, apparently, according to Ted Cruz, is anti-Semitic. I don't agree with that, but Ted Cruz said that if you say Jesus is King, that is anti-Semitic, which is fucking stupid, to be fair. What's your opinion on Xi Jinping? Xi Jinping is a dictator. I have been talking about the treatment on Uyghur Muslims in China for a long time, and the re-education camps that they stole those Uyghur Muslims and put into forcefully. Concentration camps, if you will. That is not acceptable. That is something that a dictator does. And they are going to be let loose from that re-education camp if they turn into Chinese communism. Also, Xi Jinping's treatment of Hong Kong, Taiwan, Tibet. I can't be in line with that. Has anyone heard anything in New York? Pippi, wishful thinking here. No, Pippi is alive. We saw the coffee video, unfortunately. It's time for daily video. You want that? I can provide. You ask and you shall receive. So there's a lot of people in the chat still contemplating what might be the reason, and I'm gonna show you a video now of the secret meeting that Pippi and Trump had just before the war started. I'm not saying that this is the full reason of the war, but it might be one of the reasons. And some people are saying that it might be AI. I'm not 100% on that, but this is a secret meeting that Trump and Bibi Netanyahu had just before the war. And apologies before already.
Oh, Donald, why haven't you attacked Iran yet? If you don't attack soon, I will release the Epstein files.
Okay, BB, I'll do whatever you want.
Oh, Donald, why haven't you...
That is not made by me, and I'm not sure if that's real, but it kind of looks like Bibi is in that video and also Trump is in that video, but of course it might be AI. It might be AI. Is that AI? Who knows? Who knows nowadays if that's AI or not? They have a really close relationship, though. They have a bit of a too close of a relationship. When has there ever been a real false flag? Vietnam. Smithy, Vietnam. That is proven to be. Wasn't it Trump himself that called for the release of the files? No, it wasn't. Trump. I mean, yeah, during his campaigning, he did call for that, but once he got to be a president, he kind of didn't. We have a war every 20 years or so. You have there's been so many wars that the USA has been involved in. Technically, if you put them like back to back ever since their independence, it's like war a year. But of course, there's like multiple wars in like proxy wars and so forth. I think it was the number like in the high 200s, low 300s. That ain't AI, it's a Polish secret service league. Why do you constantly lie to protect the British imperial financial system? They must pay you well. What? What? Why do you consistently lie to protect the British imperial financial system? Please do elaborate that a bit. Really, history does not teach that the British imperial financial system have been ruling the world for hundreds of years. Bibi is a proxy for the British imperial financial system. What the fuck is this? Lies about everything, no reason to tell the truth. What? Absolutely, yes, from Minnesota. Oh, we're talking about Trump. Trump is a legend. I mean, a legend of the Epstein files, but I don't think that's a good legend to be, you know?
Because you, and I mean specifically you, the press, specifically you, the press.
America sent troops. America did already send troops like yesterday, right? 2 days ago. They already sent like 2,000 special forces there. Iran shields its oil exports as Hormuz flows further. US oil prices top 100 as Trump administration threatens strikes on Iran's crude export facilities. But they did send already like 2,000 troops there. Did not mean to say you lie. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. You have to use foul language to prove your point every time. Why not just speak intelligently? Hey, Penelope, again, like, I highly, highly recommend you to read a history book, or read history a bit. It doesn't help that you write in caps lock either, because that's definitely, like, picked up from Trump. Where are you from? And once again, who are you to give any moral authority? I'm literally Jesus. Yes, I have the mind of Christ because I prayed for it. Who do you pray for? Okay, you answered all the questions I need to know. I'm not ignorant and you are rude to say that. You're screaming rudeness. You have to use foul language to prove your point every time. Why not just speak intelligently? I mean, Trump is protecting pedophiles at the moment. Trump also fucked a porn star during Melania's pregnancy for Barron Trump, so Trump is not a good Christian. Do you want me to talk about Christianity and all the horrible things that they've been doing? Do you want me to talk about a specific topic in a polite way if you want to? There was also a story in Epstein files, allegedly, one of the victims bit Trump's dick off when Trump tried to force a 14-year-old to give him a blowjob. And after the victim bit Trump's dick, Trump smacked the 14-year-old and told his guard that, take this bitch away. Do you want me to make that more polite if you want to? Penelope, do you want me to not use foul language to prescribe that story to you? Okay, I'll try to make it more polite. So there was an underage child that Trump selected out of a group of an underage children, allegedly. And then Trump forced the underage child to a praying position in front of him while he unzipped his pants and revealed his shrimp. And in that moment, the underage girl decided to bite that shrimp. And Trump gently brushed his cheek with his open palm with force and told to get that female dog out of my sight. There you go, Penelope. Is this now better? I tried to make it a bit more polite because I don't want to use foul language. William Sasser Riley is another one. You're so polite. Thanks. I tried to be. I have read the files and have heard it all. I'm not here to defend Trump. You don't get it. No, I was just being polite. Historically, didn't the Brits start original regime change in Iran because of oil prices in the 40s? Yeah, with the United States. I think it was in the 50s, though. They started in... actually, yeah, they started after the Second World War. Winston Churchill was among that, so it has to be in the 50s, though. Because there was another prime minister in Britain before the last tenure of Winston Churchill. He said he would date his daughter. That is true as well. But Trump and Hexet killing almost 200 girls in Iran is a war crime, and Trump and Hexet should be tried in Hague for their war crimes. And if you say that it was an accident, they shot 2 Tomahawk missiles. So that was a double oopsie-poopsie by the strongest and most powerful military in the world. Imagine that, how the incompetence of the US military. Oopsie-poopsie, we shot a girls' school. Better shoot it again. Oh no, we hit the same target. But hey, there's some casualties from time to time. There's some collateral damage in regime change, right? People need to die in order to regime change to happen. And that's a good thing because people are celebrating the world. And there's no harm that this is going to affect in anywhere. And because they are just removing a dictator, a ruthless dictator, which is true. The Ayatollah regime has been treating the Iranian people horribly since 1979. But it has no other effect. There's no other ripple effect of like killing a dictator that is still loved by a lot of Iranians and also is loved by a lot of religious fanatics. But it has no effect. Oh, they're bombing Tel Aviv. Why would they do that? Why would they bomb Tel Aviv? Oh, they're bombing Jerusalem. Why would they do that? Oh, is there a ripple effect by killing a evil dictator and trying to do a regime change? Oh my God. Now they're bombing the US bases in Bahrain, in Kuwait, in United Arab Emirates, in Saudi Arabia. Oh God, I couldn't see this happen. How did they know? This conversation is so stupid. I'm sorry, Penelope, but oopsie poopsie, that tickles me. Like, this conversation is such fucking pure stupidity. It's the same thing, like, attacking Venezuela doesn't have a ripple effect. Like, well, come on. Iran literally supplies vital munitions to Russia and has been since the beginning of the war. This is super important for Ukraine, Lamau. Which is ironic that the United States is accepting that Russia is providing intel on like US bases and US troop locations to Iran and lifting sanctions for Russia. So Russia is actually now again getting more money to their war machine. So what Trump is doing at the moment, again, has a ripple effect in the Ukraine-Russia war because they are letting Russia do business in oil again, which gives them more funds to kill Ukrainians. Again, you're saying all of that by saying oopsie poopsie. Yeah, because I was playing you, Penelope. I don't understand. You don't have self-irony. I was playing the same-minded person as you are, that there's no ripple effect. You're kind of killing the joke, Penelope, because I need to explain it. But if you ignore that, oh well. I mean, it's ironic also that Trump needed to go to Zelensky and ask for help. Are you finished? I'm trying to guess your accent. Yeah, I'm finished. Oopsie, Penelope, oopsie. But yeah, like, Trump needed to go and beg Zelensky for help, and now he's aiding Russia. So that's not a good sign, and that's not a good thing. You're sharing great stuff. Penelope, you were played along with his entire base. Bibi in Germany and Zelensky gave Trump cards. Did you already say why Ireland, by the way, sounds like a great spot? Did you already say why Ireland, by the way, sounds like a great spot? I mean, Ireland is a nice place. Everyone in the US should watch the anniversary on Hulu. It's exactly what is happening in the US now. Now you got me imagining a meeting between Bibi, Trump, and Zelensky. Oh my God. Pete Hegseth is melting under pressure. Pete Hegseth gave a huge freaking speech that he blamed the press for reporting about the Iran war. And because they weren't like talking how hard it is to fly a B-2 bomber for like 30 hours. Instead, they were reporting that the US military bombed the girls' school. Yeah. And now, of course, we know the head of the FCC wants to censor US media, and that the US media should only report what is in line with White House. So Chinese communism is coming to the United States. Congratulations, everyone. Donald Trump has lost all his Trump cards.
How many?
I mean, did you read what the head of the FCC said? Heck said he's drunk. I mean, I think he is drunk like ever since he wakes up. But like, they are criticizing the media for reporting what's going on in Iran because it's making the Trump administration look bad. I have a better solution. How about the Trump administration not fucking up? Have you thought about that? Does this remind you of Germany under Mustache Man? More and more every day. More and more. Like, it already reminded me when we started seeing like Americans and social media influencers saying that every American should carry their ID or their proof of citizenship in their sleeves or jackets so ICE agents would see them. I was like, okay, I have a better solution. What if we put stars for United States citizens and different color stars of immigrants? Maybe that would make it easier for the ICE agents or the Gestapo to find those. Department of War was a heads up. And also their rhetoric is also a heads up. Peace through strength. Make America great again. The Mustache Man said in 1920s as well, make Germany great again. The Mustache Man also blamed a group of people for all the bad things that are happening in Germany. Just like the orange buffoon, the orangutan, is blaming at the moment that it's all about the immigrants. Immigrants are causing that the housing prices are up. Immigrants are eating your food, stealing your jobs, and at the same time lifting up the rents and making gasoline more expensive. Immigrants are stealing your school slots, fucking, I don't know, governmental positions, are rigging the elections. Sound familiar? Anybody who's read history knows what that is. That is giving a literally reason, targeting a group of people to justify what they're going to do next. Who are you looking at? I have a screen there, I have a screen there, I have a screen there, I have a camera there, and I have another camera there. So I'm looking whatever I'm looking. You can tell your entire understanding of geopolitical events based on article headlines. You parrot titles and have no in-depth adaptive knowledge outside of those headlines titles. What? Trying to deport indigenous Americans too. Butterfly, that's an incredible achievement of like writing a long message without saying anything. Where do you think we would be had the other liar been elected? Unfortunately, Kamala is lobbied by a lot of same interest groups that Donald Trump is lobbied. So I don't think the position in 2026 would be that different than if Kamala was selected. And that's the issue in United States politics at the moment, and it's enabled by the two-party system, is that it doesn't really make that big of a difference which side you choose. The whole system in the United States should be abolished and build anew. The two-party system is the root cause of corruption in the United States because it's so easy to divide people, manipulate people, and control people. Why don't you worry about your own country? I do worry about my own country. I wouldn't say worry. It's kind of worrying that you use the word worry. You know, I think what you meant was like, why don't you talk about your own country? I'm going to stop talking about the United States immediately when United States stop fucking the world and making the world more unstable. When your president is keeping the problems inside United States and not making them global issues. That is the moment that I'm going to stop talking about United States things. Unless there's school shootings, which is something, and if there's life lost. Because I care about human lives, so whenever those happen, and they happen quite often in the United States, so I do talk about them. But of course, that is going to be, again, a moment when people are going to tell me that why don't you worry about things happening in your country? But unfortunately, school shootings is happening more in the United States than anywhere else. So, and it's ironic that a person who lives in Ireland is more like worried about school shootings in the United States than any politician in the United States. That's the thing that you might want to think about. Like, do you think Netanyahu was perhaps killed by the US by Trump? That would be the best plot twist ever. That was like Hexet did another oopsie poopsie and shot a tomahawk at Netanyahu. That would be hilarious. I think it's great you're standing up and speaking out. The regime is affecting this world. Oh yeah, 100%. Like, it's the same when I talked about like Russia-Ukraine conflict. Like, it has global effects all the way to the United States and all the way to China and like Japan. And when China had the Uyghur Muslim situation in the mid-2010s, it also has global ramifications. And if the United States and China are in a trade war, that has global ramifications. So it's super important nowadays to be globally aware what's going on around the world. I will never let my child be a sitting duck in school. I'm really like privileged to say that I don't need to worry about sending my child to school. And like, I can't even imagine what it's like living in those like states or cities that it happens. Do you live on benefits in Ireland? No, I pay a lot of taxes. I belong to the group that pays a bit more taxes than anyone else. I don't mind. Because I believe taxes are a good thing. I already have enough to provide for my wife and my 2 daughters. So I don't need that much more. So I'm gladly paying more taxes. I know this might be a bit of a shock to a lot of people. Where are you in Ireland? In County Mayo. You Irish? No, I'm Finnish, but I've been living in Ireland for 3.5 years. It's closing in 3.5. Yeah, people nowadays think that everything is not that deep, but it is actually super, super deep. 100% agree. I can drop him off somewhere I might not become when I know pew-pews can get in schools. The whataboutism is just too much. Kayla, thanks for the follow. We have high taxes in Ireland, but we get a lot of it. Or exactly, Patrick. And I pay more taxes as well. And I don't mind. That's the thing. I think even like, of course, I donate a lot of money as well to the town that I live is like not that big, so I to donate to a lot of charities and a lot of like community events and so forth. I don't mind that. That's the thing. I don't need to just like stockpile money for myself. Everything I need is already covered, so I can try and make other people's life better. You know, practice what I preach. Mayo is beautiful, 100%. My daughter is not sending our grandchild to school. United States politicians are deeply corrupt, so taxes are meaningless here. I know. You need a clean slate in the United States in order to get something like out of taxes. Because like, here's something that maybe a lot of Americans don't understand. But for example, let's take the state of Colorado, one of my favorite topics to have a conversation about. The state of Colorado has the population around the same size as Finland has. It has 3 times the GDP as Finland. They could have universal healthcare for all citizens of Colorado. Why don't they? Mind-blowing that you have a beautiful family consisting of only girls and you're not celebrating the destruction of a regime that treats its women like meat. I don't think your butterfly have listened to anything. And also, I don't think I've mentioned it a single time in this chat, but I've been rooting for the Iranian people for a good decade now. And I think you have woken up for the past 6 months. But Ayatollah's regime has treated women, children, men, everybody, different religions horribly ever since the 1979. But what I do not agree is foreign interests going and doing regime change. Because as we know, I want freedom for Iranian people, not a colony. Butterfly, if you can't think too deeply, shut the fuck up. I hope you have the same energy for the women and children, the 30,000 plus women and children killed by the Israeli government in Palestine. I hope you have the same energy, because otherwise that hypocrisy will look really bad on you. Is Bibi alive? Bibi's alive. I don't think Americans realize they're all the same. Bernie Sanders would be centrist in Europe. Bernie Sanders would be actually a centrist liberal in Europe. That is an ironic fact, because he's considered to be far right in the United States. But then again, if you have two parties being far right and far left, oh no, sorry, he would be considered far left. But that's easy when you have two political parties in the United States, because I mean, if you label the other ones left and the other ones right, that's why, like, I think everything is just dumbed down in the United States for many reasons. One of the reasons is control and manipulation, but then again, it's also that it might be too confusing for some of the low IQ red states. Not mentioning any red states, but like Alabama, Mississippi, you know. Karsta, thanks for the follow, and Negash Husik Gay, thanks for the follow. What? Divide and conquer. I'm a liberal in Louisiana. I applaud you. Jumangi, I applaud you. That must be a bit difficult to be a liberal in Louisiana. That is, I mean, goddamn, that deserves a pin. I'll pin your comment. That is awesome. You have a good understanding of. I mean, as I've stated many times, I've read global politics so much. I've read about US politics a lot. Israel genocide, Palestine, therefore we mustn't stop Iranian regime genocide. Oh my god, Butterfly, you kind of like show your hypocrisy there. Like, I've been on the side of Israeli people, Iran people for a decade. They deserve freedom and they should oust their regime themselves. A lot of countries around the world have done it. Iran has the people that could do that. No foreign interest group or foreign country should meddle in internal affairs. If fucking Nepal could do it, Iran could do it. Their strength in numbers. But again, you can't condemn Israel. Iran people can handle the change of regime on their own. It doesn't take another country to step in. Nursing of God, thanks for the follow. You know, I'm all for that if, let's say, United States and Israel now killed Ayatollah. Ayatollah said, although Ayatollah has a following already, and United States and Israel already said that they have completely obliterated the Iranian army. Fuck off, right? Mission accomplished. Trump already said that they won the war within an hour. Then again, Trump said it the same thing the following day and the following day and the following. Trump has said the same thing every day for 2 weeks, that they won the war. So mission accomplished. They can fuck off, right? Let the Iranian people pick it up, right? Or is the war still going? Which one is it? Is the war going, or did United States win? And if United States win, what are they doing there? I thought that this was all to liberate the Iranians. But of course we know, everybody else except Butterfly in YouTube know, that it's not about liberating Iran. It's about making a colony that's suitable for the agenda of Israel and the United States. That's what Trump has said. That's what Netanyahu has said. I think they should now fuck off and let the Iranians decide their future. But we know that that's not going to happen. The Iranians are not liberated yet. Wait a second. Tuti, are you saying that Trump is lying? Are you saying that Trump is lying? So United States didn't win the war. Trump said that they won the war in the first hour. Yeah, Tudi, I know that United States didn't win the war. And also I know that it's not about liberating the Iranians. That was just like, I was joking. Trump is lying. United States didn't win the war, and it's not about liberating the Iranians, as we know. They want control. They want to control the region, to decide who is going to be the next leader that's going to benefit the United States and Israel, not the citizens of Iran, to benefit United States and Israel. That has been the main goal since the beginning. It wasn't about liberating Kuwait either. It wasn't about liberating Iraq. It wasn't about liberating Libya. It wasn't about liberating Syria. Maybe they wanted to look like Gaza, a complete rubble. That's why it's super hard to me feel sorry for the people in Tel Aviv, even though I do feel sorry for the people in like Israeli cities, because their government is putting civilians in risk. But at the same time, the Israeli government, the IDF, is committing genocide in Gaza. So I can't really feel that sorry for the people of Israel, because their government is doing this. They have been committing genocide on the in Gaza and towards Palestinians, and now they're putting their citizens in risk because of their recklessness and lack of preparation attacking Iran. So yeah, Israel is to blame when it comes to the government of Israel is to blame when it comes to like Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, other cities in Israel being attacked. Iran is a big country, 90 million people. It's going to be an expensive war if they want it. Exactly, and I don't think Karza, they really thought about it. I don't think like Israel or United States really thought about it. I think Trump just looked at like the map, because of course we know also that Trump doesn't know how to read a map. And he was just looking at the map and was like, we can take that. It's the size of my thumb. The big majority of Iranians are for the Mullah regime. The trouble caused by Mossad, CIA, and traitors, Western power is non-compatible with truth. Do you think we are heading towards Third World War? I mean, are we heading towards it? Yeah. Are we there yet? No. Definitely towards it, though. The Irish fought a war for freedom. Palestine deserves an independent nation. Yeah, and that's, Patrick, exactly the reason. I think we had a conversation previously. Like, that's the reason why Irish people are sympathetic when it comes to, and empathetic when it comes to, like, Palestinians getting massacred by Israel, because Irish history resembles a lot what the Palestinians are going through at the moment. That's also what Irish people can empathize for the Ukrainians. It's also why a lot of Finns, not the right-wing government, but a lot of Finns can empathize with Palestinians, and also we can empathize with the Ukrainians, and also we can like have common ground with Irish people, because of course anyone who knows Finnish history, like Finland has been owned by our neighbors majority of our life. We've been an independent country for a century. Evil is a man that holds a key to another man's freedom. Sell oil in dollars, if in gold, then you are target. Exactly, Ingen, and I don't think people understand that importance. USA make all the modern wars since 1945. Yeah, they were a major faction in Korean War. They were a major faction in Vietnam. Yeah, even though those were like Cold War related, like communism versus capitalism, or like as Americans want to call it, freedom versus communism. But yeah, USA has been part of like all the major wars in since 1945. But Inge Jören, that's actually a good point, and that's actually true as well. Like if you watch what Iraq did in the early 2000s, starting to do business other than in dollars when we're talking about oil, and all of a sudden they're getting taste of democracy by the United States. Libya did the same thing, wanted to unite the African nations and create a common currency that they deal with oil. Oh, they got a taste of democracy. Syria did the same, Afghanistan did the same, Venezuela did the same. Iran is going to do the same. Mind-blowing how you claim to support the Iranian people, then flip-flop around when their liberation is now more possible than ever, with your alternative being them doing it themselves. Huh? Yeah. Then you resort to separate events or genocides as if it's relevant. It is relevant because a lot of newly acquired Iran fans who are choosing to be on the side of Iranians, those are literally the most recent ones, not the ones who actually care about Iranians more than 6 months, because their cult leader now told them to care about the Iranians. Like, I didn't hear anything from a lot of MAGAs back in like 2015 or even earlier than that. But why it's relevant is because those same people, of course, are on the side of Israel. Like, probably, I'm not making assumptions, but I assume, because you can't really condemn Israel, butterfly, but they don't have the same empathy and they don't have the same worry about the civilians killed by the IDF systematically. Not to mention the journalists, the medics, the hospitals, the schools. 30,000 plus women and children. That is not an accident. That is targeted. 70,000 plus civilians. Verified by the IDF themselves. There's probably another 100,000 underneath the rubble, because almost 90% of Gaza is destroyed by the IDF. But of course, newly found supporters of Israeli people don't have the same energy when it comes to Palestine, because that contradicts, because they need to support Israel as well, but Israel is supporting the Iranian civilians, so it contradicts them, and that's paradoxical. Because if you care about human life and if you care about civilian death, you should care about the Palestinians. Okay, Butterfly, you can literally prove me wrong. You have the chance to prove me wrong. I said that I'm not going to make assumptions, but because you haven't said that, these are not assumptions made by per se by you. I was talking by the greatest topic of MAGAs, who are newly found supporters of Iranians. Jeff, what up? Nice to meet you as well. We know there are these types of weapon might be used in any dangerous conflict. APC, whether B-type weapons going to be used. What propaganda did Inge Jören? Iran is destroyed by American bombs. That is true. Remember the colonialists of the Americas, the biggest genocide in human history, the Rothschilds. But that's because you see like people like Laura Loomer, and you see all of those MAGA influencers in social media, and also politicians who all of a sudden care about Muslim civilian lives. You know why? Whenever MAGA politicians and MAGA influencers start talking about that they give two shits about Muslim civilian lives, you know that there's something else in the background. And even, of course we know what's the other thing in the background. They want to control Iran. That's why they play that they care about civilian lives. But then when you point out towards Palestine, crickets. Because they want the regime change. They want to control Iran. Which is their goal, what they also stated. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is a good thing. It'll cause instability, but if it helps Ukraine in the end. Oh, Butterfly couldn't condemn Israel. Okay. And again, like Butterfly, your ignorance when it comes to this conflict is kind of like showing because of this conflict and the war with Iran, Trump lifted the sanctions from Russia. So Russia can deal with oil, which it's a ripple effect that we already have a conversation about. They will get more money for their war machine against Ukraine. So this war is actually doing harm for Ukraine. It is also showing that the United States doesn't really care what Russia does because Russia is providing intel to Iran to fight against the United States. They are providing intel where the military bases are, where the military infrastructure are, where the military personnel are. And Trump doesn't give a fuck about that. So this is why it's hilarious when people come to these like chats and have conversations that have a clear agenda that is being highlighted by a certain faction, but they can't see the bigger fucking global picture. It cancels the benefit out. All right, now you said you were gonna go out, now you're gonna go out. Aren't everyone in favor of change regime in Iran? I'm not. Why would I be? I want the Iranian people to be free, not a colony. Papa Chef, thanks to follow. Why would I be in favor of that? Why, if that's the standard, why not invade North Korea? Because they have nuclear weapons. Alejandro, I think... Oh my fucking god. Ayatollah regime has been treating Iranians horribly since the 1979. But Alejandro Rupera, I think this is pointless to tell you, but you do understand that Trump and Netanyahu is not going to give the Iranians a choice of who the next leader is going to be. We have the same conversation when it comes to... I remember we had the same conversation in Venezuela, and you didn't understand back then. But I hope you have learned something from that. Yes, Venezuela is still under the same regime. Why is it even worse than an illusion of freedom? It is an illusion of freedom. Are you finished? No, I've been streaming for 1 hour 55 minutes, but I think I'll still stream for a few minutes. I'm not finished yet. Trump is trying to liberate Iran oil and rare earth mineral, not this. You're getting a pin. There you go. Europe has most members not wanting a war, bottom line. I respect Spain standing up. I respect Spain standing up as well. Holy shit. Are you finished? I'm not finished yet. I think I'm going to stream another 5 minutes or so. No, yeah, I know. I'm just kidding because, like, as a Finnish person, I can use that joke. Whenever somebody asks, "Are you Finnish?" I can just reply that either, for example, if you ask that in the beginning of the stream, I can say that, no, I just started. Or like now, I can say that, no, I'm going to stream for a few more minutes because I'm Finnish, so I can use that. One of the worst dad jokes ever. I'm from Spain. How is Spain standing up? Aren't you following the news, Alejandro? Other countries are jealous they can't achieve what America can. Aren't you listening to your politicians, Alejandro, in Spain? Like, if people in the chat and even I know what your politicians are saying and has been saying to Trump and about the Iran war, how is that possible? Could you explain to me? Trump does no one spitting but his own. Is he dumb and easily manipulated? Yes, but he only cares about himself, and he also makes everything about himself every time, all the time. Spain is done with the orange mango. Yeah, mango Mussolini. Israel threatened to use nukes. Trump preempted it with the attack. Our South Park, not Finland. They nuked themselves. Okay, come on. That is still one of the most funniest episodes ever. Israeli forces kill Palestinian couple and 2 of their children in occupied West Bank. Won't you look at that? Israel doing horrible things as usual. The Trump administration, as soon as this week, plans to announce that multiple countries have agreed to form a maritime coalition that will escort commercial shipping vessels and oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. There's one huge issue here. Iran said that every single other country than USA and Israel can sail through the Strait of Hormuz. Forcing something on someone is a bad idea. Same applies on so-called democracy on another nation. Someone should tell Sweden they were pretty close. You have many good points, and I think the Iran is heavily underestimated. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the current Iran regime, but 100% like the United States and Israel is like underestimating the power of Iran. Trump asked the world to send warships. Here's what every country said. France said, fuck you. China didn't respond. United Kingdom said that they're going to have a conversation with allies, no commitment. Japan, silence. South Korea, no confirmation. Germany rejected. Norway rejected. 10 countries, 0 warships. I mean, sounds about right. Who the fuck would want to do that? Trump stuffed shit, and then like everybody else pays the bill as usual. Like what is that logic there? Trump starts like causes an issue that needs bailout, and then the rest like pays the bill. That makes no fucking sense. Sinn Féin won the last few elections in Ireland, but the other parties got together to get them up. I know. Sinn Féin unfortunately has a bit of a PR issue, so I think if I would run in Ireland, I would probably be in Sinn Féin or the Greens. I don't know yet. I feel like Trump was pressured to go to Iran. Yeah, probably, but also Trump probably also. I think Trump thought that he could take Iran easily. Jerry Adams is the PR nightmare. That is, I mean, I used to live in Belfast. I know Jerry Adams. Yeah, he is a bit of a PR nightmare. Refuse boots on the ground. I hope that they don't put boots on the ground, because that will mean a lot of more death, destruction, and blood. That will cause a lot of death for civilians, human lives, both sides, in Iran, in Israel, and in neighboring countries, and the United States. I think Trump wants global instability. I think Trump benefits from the global instability. And also Putin benefits from it. Cuba just called USA to make a deal. I read something like that as well. But I think that came from the... Cuba confirms negotiations with the USA as country faces effects of oil blockade. You think this is good foreign policy? How to run foreign policies? I think that's kind of that again has ripple effects in the future. Who the fuck will trust the United States if their global policy is extortion? Like technically a mafia. They're extorting countries by sanctions and blockades or war or special operations to agree their bidding. You think that's a country that you can really trust? Trump tried to involve Kurz in the mess right after betraying them. PR Rocky, thanks for the follow. Send everyone from Epstein files to the front line. I love that idea. Can we do that? That sounds like a good idea. I think a lot of you Americans would also be in favor with that.
Prices are down. Everything. Remember eggs? We weren't going to buy another egg for the next 20 years. They were so expensive, right? Remember? You guys all hit me about eggs. Eggs have come down 400%. Everybody has eggs now. They haven't.
Yes. 400% discount. God damn. Marianne, thanks for the follow. Is a war against the Rothschilds' financial domination not for justice, for colonization? West is the real evil axis. Not all West. But unfortunately, there's a lot of war-hungry people in the West. What the fuck they'd be paying us for? Exactly, Imanji. I would like to have that 400% discount on X. So, yeah. Math isn't mathing again. Chickens had to be destroyed. That's why we had a shortage. Yeah, because of bird flu, right? CIA must be financing a movie as we speak to spin the narrative.
Land in America. The next generation of young people won't remember October 7th in the same way. That's true in Israel and in America and broadly in the world. And we need to make sure two things. One, it's not that we don't forget. We need to make sure that the story is told properly so that when the history books write this, they don't write about the victims of Gaza, right? They can't. The history, and it's. I should be a little more precise. There were victims in Gaza, right? It's true. There are civilian casualties in every war that's ever been fought. But the victims were the people of the nation-state of Israel. The aggressor was the Iranian regime in the proxy of Hamas. And we need to make sure that the history books reflect that. And that requires each of us every day to talk about it in real time with our children, with our grandchildren, about it in a way that is serious and thoughtful and complete and more.
This is the reason when you have Israeli officials talking about the Gaza genocide like this. This is the reason why a lot of people hate Israel, why a lot of people connect Israel with the religion itself, and this is also a real big reason why there's so much anti-Semitism around the world. It doesn't benefit anyone to rewrite history and the people applauded. Well, they're all like, this is a Mir Yamani Institute, so it's a Future of Israel convention. Is Yahoo 6 feet under? No, unfortunately not. Are you on X? I am on X. Not that active on X, but I try to make America super angry in X. I fact check them, and I do the same things I'm doing here on live. Send ICE to the front lines in Iran. That would be fun. I would gladly. Did Iran finance Hamas? Probably through some proxy, but Qatar funded Hamas way more. Also, Israel funded Hamas, so Are we all make America angry again? Exactly. Ma. It's not MAGA, it's just Ma. But like Israel, there is actually like documents from the Israeli government that they have been funding Hamas for a long time through Qatar and directly funding Hamas. Are you for or against America fighting Iran? I am against regime change, if you ask that. I'm against making Iran a colony and not freeing the people of Iran. Finish the Finn, he is a problem. Same name on X, yeah, I think. Alicia, yeah. All on Epstein list give the boots. I'm new here and I'm really enjoying your live and conversation. Hey, thanks. Who's winning the war? Do you want the US propaganda answer or do you want the real answer? You do realize that the people of Iran have never been happier. I don't agree with the unaliving. You don't agree with the US military killing civilians, right? Or do you agree with that? Again, Serena, I'm a bit of a broken record here, but if you measure if a thing is good based on people celebrating, that's a really horrible measurement because of history. You can see it if you open up a history books or if you just use any AI, if you want to provide you statistics and like actual history that we can measure. That is a horrible way of measuring if something is successful or a good thing. Like initially people are gonna be super happy. We saw the same thing in Iraq, in Libya, in Syria, in Afghanistan. We've seen that in Middle Eastern countries all the time. But the reality comes later. There would be people celebrating if Netanyahu was killed. 100%. But is that a measurement, if that's a good thing? There might be an even worse leader after that. We saw what happened with Ayatollah. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was killed. And his son is even worse. And he's now leading. He's now the supreme leader. The lighting in the video is not right. It's orange only on him. Looks like airbrush brushing. Which one? 3 people were hung when all came into a dictatorship for protesting against his beliefs. Serena, you didn't really answer. Like, when United States and Israel is gonna kill enough of people that they will claim that the war is over, they're gonna decide who the leader is. There's no freedom in this war for Iran if United States and Israel goes all the way, because they need to select a leader that's favorable for Iran, Israel and United States, not the people of Iran. That's a misconception a lot of people have. The regime is still the same at the moment. As long as he's normal leader and Iran can go back to democracy, I'm good. Yeah. Colony is always a nice thing. Nothing bad ever happens in a colony. Right? You think that all those new generation of people, that all the civilians and all of those don't have family members, you think that those are gonna celebrate a regime under the United States and Israel? That's wishful thinking. We've seen what that happens. If you go and kill thousands or even tens of thousands of people, they're gonna grow up with animosity towards the countries that caused the destruction and also death of their fellow countrymen, their family members, and their friends. We saw what happened in Iraq. We saw what happened in Gulf War. And we saw what happened decades later, where they attacked again, there's a lot of people in the chat at the moment that doesn't understand the bigger effect that this fucking war has. There's a lot of people in the chat that doesn't understand the bigger global effects this is going to have, not just for Iranians, but globally. Generations, 100%. There's going to be the next terror cell forming because of this war. Israel started this. Yeah, they did. Iran is different case, I'm afraid. It's not. Prime Minister Mohammed Mossadegh was revered by the people. Oil was nationalized. UK, US took him out. North Korea got a nuke to deter America. I'm aware of that, but we don't have to look the bright side of this. Iranian people need to be hoarded. Iranian people need to do a revolution. They have the numbers. They have the numbers to overthrow their government. There's going to be a lot of death. But usually revolution, unfortunately, has that, especially when you go to against a horrible regime like the Ayatollah regime since 1979. Nepal did that. Madagascar did that. Sri Lanka did that. There was a lot of revolutions last year that were done. If you let a foreign entity dictate your future, this is going to happen a decade from this point. It's going to happen again in the 2030s, 2036 onwards. This is going to repeat itself. You're not going to create a lasting effect by letting USA and Israel dictate your future. It might feel the only way at the moment, but it's going to repeat itself again. Today, all opposition in Iran are united. Ukraine is Putin, Afghanistan, Iran is Trump, Trump's Vietnam. Yeah. Literally, yes. Israel wants a puppet leader. There's so many uneducated people around the world also saying that Reza Pahlavi is going to come back to Iran and like lead. No. Trump already said that. Fuck that. Trump already proved that he doesn't care what the Iranians think. Trump said that Reza Pahlavi is not suitable for the leader. He said that he's a nice guy, but he's not suitable for the United States and Israel. He already proved that he doesn't give a fuck about the Iranians. The revolution that happened, thousands of Iranians killed in those protests and that revolution, that was all a justification that Trump and Israel used to go in. That's why they waited. They waited until the death toll ramped up high enough, and they went in. They don't care about Iranians. Trump doesn't care what his own experts are telling. Exactly. Trump doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. You think those fucking evil leaders like Trump and Netanyahu especially, Netanyahu has been massacring tens of thousands of women and children without blinking an eye, calling a whole fucking millions of people vermin. His cabinet, his government calls them that there's no innocent people in Gaza. There's no innocent Palestinians. You think those people give a fuck about Iran? They don't. Israeli government especially, they have dehumanized Palestinians for a long fucking time. Their defense minister back in the mid-2000s called it when they killed a lot of children and the youth of in Gaza. They called it mowing the lawn. You think that sort of a government, that sort of a person gives a fuck about Iranians? That's delusion. And at the moment, they're just proving it. Killing civilians in the thousands in Iran. Destroying whatever infrastructure they have. You think they care about Iranians? No. They're just fucking bombing everything. That's what the IDF does. That's what the United States does. They don't care about the casualties. They don't care about the destruction. They don't care. That's the issue here. Who do you think is gonna pay for all of that? Who do you think is gonna pay all the destruction? All the reconstruction of the infrastructure, all the reconstruction of the buildings, the schools. Who do you think is gonna pay for all of that? You think you're free? You're owing a debt to the USA and Israel while they are bombing you. Is it possible that the Delta Force got weapons into Iran during the protest? That goes into, like, of course it is possible, but I'm not gonna say it is the truth. It is possible. Delta Force would definitely be able to do that. Impact, thanks for the follow. Fact is, we do care. It's all on Trump. Oh yeah, sorry, but when I'm talking about the USA, when I'm talking about the America, the USA, or when I'm talking about Israel, I'm talking about the government and the leaders of that government, not the people. Yeah, I should have made that more clear. Under another country's banner, you speak freely. Yeah, we have freedom of speech. I have ability to speak my mind. Thanks for pointing that out, that I can... He's just saying anything. Harry Balls Jr., you would not fight, you moved. They are no different than you and me, they have no guns. Trump wants an easy way out. I agree the USA don't care about Iranians, but they do care about peace. No, they don't. No one cares about anyone. You just preach without no solution because you look cool. Are you free? Under another country's banner, you speak freely, he just says anything. Like, what the hell is that? That's literally just nonsense. When the Nepalian people pushed their government away because the government was corrupt, there was a lot of clashes. But they did that without foreign aid. USA didn't go and help them. Bangladesh did the same after the student uprising. Bangladesh former Prime Minister, Mesa Hasina, no, Hasina something, killed 1,500 students. So Bangladesh people revolted and did a revolution and pushed her out. They just had an election just a month ago. Iran can do that. Iran can do that. How exactly do you think Iranian people could start a rebellion on their own? Draft Dodgers covered Donny puts others in harm's way and ran away when asked to serve country. People power. What's your own opinion? Why are you care about my opinion about ICE? Like, what does the ICE have to do anything with Iran? I can give you my opinion, like how ICE under Trump's administration has been conducting their businesses. Reminiscence of how Gestapo did it back in the 1930s in Germany. Also, when Obama was president, Obama used cages to put immigrant children in, and that was also done by ICE. ICE needs to follow law. ICE also needs to follow the constitution. If they don't follow, they should be prosecuted based on that. ICE has a lot, yeah, I agree. ICE has very IDF behavior. Very IDF behavior. Trump went to Iran to protect the USA. One of the best fucking lies that I've ever read and heard from Trump. This is actually a good page to follow Iran war if you want to. Serena, don't talk about like sex trafficking if we're not talking about Epstein. Yeah, ICE does good things. But ICE works also as Gestapo. Those are not excluding each other. Bad apples in ICE should be prosecuted, not have full immunity. But ICE still does good things as well. ICE could operate under fucking constitution and law without trampling people's constitution. If you want to follow Iran war, here's a good website for that. IranMonitor.org. It compiles every single news outlet in the world. It has Israeli news, it has Iranian news, it has Lebanese, European, Asian, American news outlets. Hey host, are you a Jew? No, I'm an atheist. What's the reason Trump went to Iran? I think it's Israel. I think it's Netanyahu. And probably oil as well. But I do think it's Netanyahu. There's two agendas. Domination and control of Iran, which is super important for both Israel and the United States. Iran has the third largest heavy crude oil reserves in the world. Venezuela is number 1, Saudi Arabia is number 2, Iran is number 3. So there's definitely some relations to the oil as well. Because then Trump would control number 1, which is Venezuela. Trump's family is heavily involved with Saudi Arabia and the Prince family in Saudi Arabia. So technically Trump could say that he also controls number 2. And if he gets his hands on number 3, which is Iran, he would control that as well. That's a lie. What is a lie? You don't go to a war with a nuclear power for oil. They weren't a nuclear power, Alejandro. They don't have nuclear weapons. That's why they invaded. If they had nuclear weapons, they would have not gone there. Simple as that. If they had nuclear weapons, USA would have not gone there. That's a fact. That's literally a fact. Are you a Finn? Yeah. They are far from making a nuke. India and China on the side of GS befriending everyone. The Israeli decided they could not wait. I mean, Netanyahu has been lobbying for this since the 1990s, so. Alejandro, Iran never said that they have nuclear weapons. They lied many times that they could build nuclear weapons, but they've never stated that they had nuclear weapons. Also, the UN watchdog didn't find any signs of nuclear programs even. Not to mention nuclear weapons. And to be fair, Trump claimed last summer that Operation Midnight Hammer destroyed the nuclear capabilities, the nuclear facilities of the Iranian nuclear program, which was a lie. And Iran also, through Oman's minister that was a negotiator in the nuclear guarantee with United States, Israel, and Iran, Iran agreed to the nuclear weapon guarantees that the United States wanted on Friday, a day before the strikes. And then they shifted the goalpost to include ballistic missiles and mid-range missiles. And they were supposed to have a follow-up meeting on the following Monday. But of course we know that the United States and Israel attacked on Saturday, so that meeting on Monday never happened. Spain went to Iraq for nuclear threat and it was a bad decision. I mean, Iraq didn't have weapons of mass destruction, so that was a complete lie. Just like this is a complete lie as well. Why does Israel not allow anyone else to defend themselves? I mean, they want to be the only one that can use the victim card as a shield all the time. You didn't see that when Israel attacked on that fateful Saturday, they sent the missiles to Iran. While the missiles were in the air going towards Iran, Israel tweeted in their official, like, Israel's defense ministry tweeted that Israel has the right to defend themselves while the missiles were in the air going towards Iran preemptively as an offensive, not defensive. They literally tweeted that they have the right to defend themselves while they were attacking without provocation another country. So Operation Epstein Wars, or what was it? Operation something. Don't you watch the Oscars? Fuck no. I don't watch the Oscars. It's the Epstein Wars. Like, we're talking about, let's say, a decade in the future. When people decade from now, in the year 2036, are going to look back to this time period that we're living in now. It's going to be referred to as the Epstein Wars. Israel goes against international law and get no repercussions, but wants everyone else to abide the rules. Exactly. People don't learn from history, unfortunately. That is true, and we see it like in these chats constantly. I think it will be referred to as the beginning of AI. No, it's going to be Epstein Wars. Because we have the Epstein Wars when it comes to the DOJ and the FBI fucking it up, releasing of the Epstein files. And of course we have the multiple regime changes and new global conflicts that Trump has created just to shift the spotlight from the Epstein files. For example, threatening to take Greenland, Venezuela situation, threatening Colombia, threatening Mexico, threatening Cuba, threatening Iran, bombing Nigeria, bombing Syria, bombing Iran, bombing Venezuela, all of that. This is going to be referred to as the Epstein period or Epstein Wars. That's a lot in a year. That's a year. That within a year, all of the things I just said happened. And that's not even talking about the Minnesota situation in the United States. That's not even talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's not even talking about all of that other shit that happened. That's only Trump attacking and threatening other countries, while the Epstein files were still being redacted by DOJ and FBI. That's a lot of things happen. He wanted the Colombian coffee, Trump. It is good coffee. No, like, Alejandro, Trump hopefully didn't have anything to do with Kirk's assassination, but it was again during the same time period of all of the other fuckery going on. He wants Cuba next. Oh yeah, Lindsey Graham already said that. Just wait until you see what's going to happen in Cuba. That was Lindsey Graham literally just a few days ago. Still hoping natural causes step in. I do hope as well. Blood cloth, anything. Black spot. To be fair, wasn't America always like this? Yeah. If you look at America's history, like, they've been raging war more than anyone else. Why Trump is trying to hide the files. And I quote from Trump himself that a lot of his friends are gonna get in trouble. This is what Trump said. Google it. He knows a lot of people who are gonna get in trouble. Are people ignorant or mentally challenged? I think it's like just an overload of information. Did you see Trump's face when Lindsey Graham talked about Cuba? Yes, I did. I'm from Washington State. We are doing our best to fight this regime. I know there's a lot of people in the United States who are opposing Trump's regime, and that's a good thing. I have to remind everybody that you have your Second Amendment right when things get like too spicy. Second Amendment was literally created to fight oppression and an evil regime, a tyrannical regime. So you have the right to bear arms, to form inform militia to fight against the tyrannical regime. So whenever shit gets too real in the United States, you have the right to do that. And it's well that I have to remind you Americans that you have the Second Amendment right as well. Send Lindsey to Iran. I do hope so as well. Don't go crazy, bro. I hate guns. But Americans do have the Second Amendment right. They hate you. Who hate me? US America first. IRGC. Social propaganda. And the last one, what you said was they hate you. Conservatives could take over so easily. No, we don't. Joshua chosen Trump for the job in this spiritual war. Joshua guides, supports, and loves our president. Trump follows Joshua direction. Divine is in charge. It's not he's attacking each country who won't accept global banking system and government. You need like 3 licenses for a rifle in Ireland. That is true. That's the same thing in Finland. That's the same thing as Finland. It's 12 o'clock in Ireland, and I need to wake up tomorrow for work before St. Patrick's Day. So I'm gonna go now and take my 6 hours of sleep and wake up in the morning. And I'm gonna thank everybody who joined in the conversation. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, it doesn't really change that we're all human and we're all in this together. Like, you and, like, if you pick a person who you disagree with, you share more in common with that person than the people in power and the tech billionaires and the most powerful people in the world. So us normies should actually try and unify instead of divide. And that is, we just need to find common grounds where common grounds could be found, you know? Thanks, everyone, and hope everyone has a great rest of the day, rest of the evening. Good night if you're already in the night, and good morning if you're on the other side of the world. So take care, guys. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow because, well, Tuesday's St. Paddy's Day, so I don't have to work, so tomorrow I can stream more. So take care, guys. See you.